press the bell icon on the YouTube app to never miss a video from News Laundry.
This is a News Laundry podcast and you're listening to Highway on my podcast with Rocky, Mayur and Abhinandan.
We're back! We're hungry!
And we are going over a speed breaker, evidently, by the break in Rocky's voice. We are with the two biggest men in Indian food and travel, Rocky and Mayur. Another speed breaker. Joining us on the smooth road is Prashant Sareen, producer, director extraordinaire.
Hi.
And like I introduced him earlier, inventor of the moonwalk. And my name is Abhinandan Sekhri. This is Highway on my podcast, where we bring the highway to you until you can get on the highway. Although now the highways are relatively open, but I'm sure a lot of you are not really traveling out there. So until it is completely safe to go out, we shall bring you the highway. And after that, we will head the highway with all your help. Today, we will take you across to our home state, which is the state of Delhi. So, with the cliches out of the way, since Delhiites are known to be very aggressive, if we leave out any of your favorite places...
Oh, shut up, bastard! How dare you say Delhiites are aggressive? Okay, come out,
जानता नहीं है मैं कौन हूँ?
So, there's lots in Delhi which we cannot possibly cover in one episode, as has happened in many other states. But we'll try to cover as much as possible. So let's start off on a slightly sweet note. I must say that you could say I'm biased towards Delhi because after I turned 17, this has been my home ever since. But the variety of food and the quality of food that Delhi offers, I don't think per square kilometer or per capita, any place in the country offers. And I understand Bangalore, Amritsar, these places are like food havens and many others. But Delhi really has a variety that not many states can boast of.
Yeah, I mean, there's this great debate that always rages on as Kolkata being the best street food city. Some people think Mumbai is the best street food city. Few people think Delhi is the best street food city. So I just want to say to all of you, Delhi is the best street food city. Sorry, please.
I thought Swami Rocky Nandan would come up with some let's all love each other and don't argue about this. But he completely stabbed my hopes.
No, we can say all that also. We must love each other and not argue, as long as we all agree that Delhi has the best street food.
Yeah,
yes.
indeed.
We will lovingly keep pointing this out to you unless you disagree, in which case we'll all get together and meet you on the roads.
Which is what Delhi is known for. क्या खा के आए? आज तो मार खा के आए, कल कबाब खा के आए.
But मजे आए.
लेकिन मजे आए. So guys, we've done Delhi in so many episodes across so many shows. I don't even know where to start. Yeah, I mean, one of my favorites that I miss, especially during the lockdown, is Bengali market. Yeah, I really loved gorging myself. Of course, ever since I got diabetes, I couldn't gorge myself as much. But we've had some fantastic meals, and if I remember correctly, we ended a lot of shoots there. No matter where we were shooting, we used to go to Bengali market. We said, let's have a bunch of rasgulla, gulab jamun, and then we used to head home. Because remember, we've done a lot of culmination of the day at Bengali market for comfort food.
That's a nice place to have street food in slightly sanitary conditions. It's all the pleasures of street food can be had in a nice place where you're sitting down with a fan over your head. You're not standing with flies around you. So it's a good place actually to just start chakoing Delhi.
And pretty decent, I mean, across the board, whether it is their rasgullas, their sweets, their, chola bhatura.
Their chaat, their chola bhatura, yeah.
Everything is good over there.
When you get down over there, you have to go to the Golgappe wala guy. You need to get a token, get to the Golgappe wala guy and tell him, mere ko aloo chana zyada dalo aur usme thodi mirchi dalo, kala wala masala. And that is what I've been saying for the last 45 years to this big mustache Panditji who used to stand there and give the Golgappas. And we used to love each other. He used to give me one extra even when I was a child. So for me, those are like the most delicious Golgappas, puchkas, pani puris, whatever you want to call them in the world. Yeah. And I'm proud of it. I go back there at least, I used to before the lockdown. I used to go out there at least twice a month just to eat Golgappas and hang around. I mean, there are many great places in Delhi for Golgappas, but Bengali market Golgappas with extra aloo chana and that lal mirchi and lots of salt and that mirchi wala pani. My mouth is watering. Yeah. Oh.
And so as many other people's.
ऐसे मत करो यार. I'm stuck in Goa. I haven't had like good golgappas and stuff in forever. I don't want to hear about this.
वहाँ नहीं मिलते पूछ के.
पता
है. दुकान शुरू कर ले यार एक.
हाँ.
यहाँ से एक्सपोर्ट करते हैं तेरे को.
अच्छा आइडिया है. the thela. And this is the perfect time to start also. Thanks for all your
Absolutely.
useful suggestions, you.
मयूर गोवा में अच्छी सी दुकान खोलते हैं रॉकी मयूर दे गोल दिल्ली वाले गोलगप्पे थोड़ी पैर दी
Okay, fine. Okay then.
And like the old Muchiwala uncle used to give Rocky one extra every time he went there. We'll also give one people extra to just tell them these are authentic Delhi golgappas.
हाँ.
6 golgappe एक plate में और एक जोर से थप्पड़.
No, we give everyone a pen when they're leaving and they're like, why? Because this is party pen.
But listen, if people are looking for a business opportunity, actually it's not a bad idea, Rocky, because here you actually can't get really. I was just telling somebody yesterday, you can't get good chola bhaturas. You can't get anywhere close to authentic chola bhaturas or butter chicken.
In
Or
fact, I think a good way to segment this is chola bhatura, sweets, butter chicken. Because Delhi, we have specialized kebab, the nihari. So first, let's get the chaat and sweets out of the way. There's evergreen sweets, there's Bengali sweets, which are the other ones we've been. Even evergreen's quite good. Yeah, I mean, I think
Niku, you can actually divide this episode into area wise also. I mean, Delhi is, don't forget, it's a half a state, right?
Yeah.
You could do South Delhi, which has very different, ambience and food and all that.
Delhi ko half
West-
kaise bol raha hai? We are
West-
1.5 state, Delhi.
You have West Delhi, where you have all the Punjabi Bagh, Rajouri Garden, Mayapuri, Ashok Meat and this, that and the other. Then you have Old Delhi, where you have, it's full of stuff. I mean, so it's North Delhi, Model Town, all that area. So you can actually really divide up Delhi in many different ways. But yeah, absolutely. And wherever you are in Delhi, you can find exceptional food.
Then there's that chaat guy on Shah Jahan Road. Yeah, what is that called?
Near the UPSC building.
UPSC chaat wala again. Very, very good chaat. Very Delhi style. And Delhi style is different because the pani has a lot more mint and a lot more dhania, a lot more pudina, a lot more chili. And it's really fiery. And that's what Delhiites love. So,
More punch.
More punch. Yeah, oh, punch.
Delhi ka punch.
We love it so much, we call it the punch pyare. We punch everybody and like, tu bada pyara yaar, aap mukha kha.
And the unique aloo ki chaat, which you get only in Delhi. As far
yeah,
as
that aloo
as far
chaat
as-
is in fact
absolutely in Connaught Place.
Shankar
that
Market.
corner in Shankar Market and also the A block
A
inner
block
circle
corner.
Connaught. Yeah.
yes,
Just
although-
outside the India Today office.
exactly just outside what used to be the India Today office.
What used to be India.
In that corner, there was one chaat wala which Prashant and I used to go to quite often back when we used to work in CP. But the one in Shankar Market also is really good. I mean, it's very popular in Delhi street food. I've never liked it. Is that chukandar? That's a sweet potato, right? क्या कहते हैं उसको? उसकी
Yeah.
भी chaat होती है, but that I find it
It's
quite.
roasted and then they just put some masala and nimbu on it.
And some star fruit sometimes. If you're really lucky, they give you some of that really tart, khatta star fruit with it.
But does anyone here like chukandar ki chaat?
I mean it's quite nice, yeah. I mean it's very nice actually with the masala and it's roasted masala and with nimbu. It tastes very nice.
It's mushy. The thing I don't like about sweet potato chaat is that it's mushy. So
You don't like anything fibrous.
yeah, like aloo chaat is really nice, fried and crispy and crinkly and chewy and,
Yeah.
and put the chaat and nimbu on top. You get spicy. It's fantastic to eat. Yeah, my mouth is watering. Yeah.
listen that not chukandar but sweet potato ki jo chaat hoti hai.
So it is-
Shakarkandi. It's called
Sorry,
shakarkandi.
shakarkandi. But
Oh, get something right.
I mean, if it's done well, if it's roasted well, you get that nice roasted smoky flavor coming through. Yeah, it's exceptional, absolutely, if it's done well. But there are so many different other kinds of chaat. If you go to Old Delhi, for instance, you will find many thelas out there where you can get moong dal ki chaat. And it's basically just steamed moong dal, which they put hari mirchi, pyaz, very finely cut pyaz and tomato and all, and with some masala and nimbu, and you have another chaat.
Come out of the Chandni Chowk metro station. There's a very narrow alleyway, and
Yeah.
you come out Raj Dahi Bhalla, and it's more like a chaat here. And what a Dahi Bhalla it is.
Exceptional, absolutely.
Palate of Delhi is so lively, and we love such big taste because we're like the center of the world as far as as far as India and the relationship with the rest of the world was concerned. All the spices went from, all the influences came down over here. Everybody who ever raided, settled down, went out, came to Delhi, and Delhi was the center of so many things. So incredible flavors and an incredible palate here. Even a chola bhatura, like just a simple matar ki chaat, when you add to it the the masale wala tel and the pyaz and the sev and the dhania and the nimbu and the mirchi, and you just go mad with the flavors here.
बस कर पगले रुलाएगा क्या बस कर
वो बेचारा गोवा में सड़ रहा है तू श्रिम्प खा तू चिंगड़ी माछ खा
Thanks.
We've done quite a thesis on chola bhature which will come to, by the way, guys. And this, not joking, we actually were doing a show to discover the best butter chicken and the best chola bhatura. So we actually went to each place that is famous across Delhi, but we'll come to that. But staying with Chaat, one of our most amazing shoots I remember is the place I think Rocky is referring to, Chandni Chowk. If you have your back to Lal Killa, on the right, where just out of an alley, it's like next to an alley, and just managing the camera.
It'll be on your left then. If the Lal Killa is behind you.
No, the
then it'll be
Taj
on the
is
left.
right.
No, it's on the right. On the left
On the
is the sweet. Is the
Right. Correct. That's right.
Ghantiwala. That guy's called Ghantiwala because an elephant used to come.
वो तो बंद हो गया वो.
Oh, incidentally, Ghantiwala is going to open again. He's going to open somewhere in grade class or something, and then you'll be able to go out,
Oh, great.
try all his old favorites, the Hapshi Halwa.
I don't remember the exact story, so I won't mess it up. I'll let someone who remembers the exact story tell us why it's called Ghantiwala. It was one of the oldest sweet shops in Delhi. It was in Chandni Chowk, that area. And we've had some wonderful shoots there. And I remember how much I stuffed myself with sweets.
Oh, man.
But on the right of the Dahi Bhalla guy, there's a spice market in Chandni Chowk. And again, it's a photographer's dream. There are all these boris, with mountains of different colored spices. And when you go there, when you're eating,
Khadi Bauli.
you can
Khadi
smell
Bauli.
all that stuff.
Yeah.
Now you'll sneeze if you breathe too hard.
Oh,
But,
Bauli
there's some amazing chat experiences there, man.
Yeah, and it's really interesting because it's a whole different world altogether. I mean, you can go through those alleyways and those streets, and I mean, you can actually see lived culture. It's not like in some museum or something like that. You don't have to go to some auditorium to enjoy some cultural event or anything like that. I mean, it's there out on the street. The shopkeeper. You go into a shop, you sit down. He'll get you chai, or he'll get you some samosa, or he will offer you something else. Whatever is famous around his shop, he'll have that brought for you.
Yeah, try karo. And if you get to a vantage point, all these shops, Prashant is talking, they're very small shops. And we, Ajay, our cameraman, had gone up the stairs, and you get up to a vantage point, you look down, these are actually huge Havelis. And you can still see the superstructure of the Haveli that have been like bisected and trisected and divided into smaller and smaller till they're small shops. But when you go up and look at it, it's still huge Havelis. That's the main structure is there.
I think part of the reason Ajay went up there to shoot is because Prashant is talking about all this. It's a different world and a slow world. But if you're trying to shoot an episode standing on the street and you're in the way of those thela-walas who are carrying hundreds of kilos, they can't afford to slow down. Then everybody forgets politeness and like, hey, side bet, hey, shh, side bet.
Yeah.
So I think that might have been part of the reason why Ajay escaped up there. Listen, let's not forget the king of the charts. The Daulat Ki Chand.
But listen,
Daulat Ki Chand.
don't skip Ghantewala because it has some incredible stories of how the name came about. One of the things is that Shah Alam used to be Ghanti ke niche wali dukaan se zara mithai le ke aao. There used to be a big bell over there. But the story that we heard when we were there was that one of the Mughal kings, when he used to be passing by in a procession from that road, his elephant used to stop and used to ring the bell. You could hear the bell coming of the elephant, and it would stop and shake its head and ring the bell until it was given sweets from that shop, which reminded me a lot of Mayur in his youth as a large elephant walking down the street demanding sweets from people. And that's how the name, came about. Another one, of course, was Lala Sukhlal Jain. He used to walk from street to street, with this ringing his ghanta with a little bell that he used to have, and that's how it became Ghantewala. But whatever the reason is, the sweets were supremely sweet, supremely milky, very, very good. And unless you stood there and eaten yourself half to sweet death, you don't know what I'm talking about.
And they had this halwa, which isn't your aate ka halwa or suji ka halwa. It was some moong dal ka halwa. What was it? Remember?
They had a kaddu ka halwa, I remember.
Yeah, he had very unusual halwas, and I gorged on this. It was some kisi dal ka halwa tha. And it was outstanding, man. I was like, chalo protein bhi mil rahi hai, to chalo kha lete hain 3-4 katoriyan. But it didn't work out in the end for me.
And those laddus, he had really those dark pinnies also with all the slide. Even the Hapsi Halwa, it had all the spices, clove and cardamom and cinnamon. And it's going to be interesting when he opens in Greta Class because that's a fairly old taste. It'll be very interesting to see if that will sell in today's day and age where people want like either spicy or sweet.
You're sure he's reopening?
Yeah. Rocky and I did we did a little seminar for the students of this International Institute of Culinary Arts in Oscars, and he's a student there actually. He's got the young boy who's going to open it. He's from the family, and he's teaching himself pastry skills and stuff. So he's going to now have
Oh, nice.
all the old
That's great,
products,
man.
and he's going to have the pastry and stuff. And if you're listening to this and I've given away your game, sorry.
The Habshi halwa that you were eating, the Habshi halwa, that is made out of curdled milk, out of patawa doodh. And that is why the taste is so unique and delicious. And it's a very, very Delhi thing again. Yeah. So it's a brilliant halwa. There's also, of course, moong dal halwa and all that stuff, but that's not what you are having.
Oh, I see. So now I must comment that there is something to be said about many of these names are very old, so they're not politically correct. Habshi halwa being one. Then there was another dish that we mentioned in an earlier episode, which is also a drink in Daman and Diu called the White Negro. I guess these guys should rename their dishes because we are in 2020 and they should know the context. But one of the most anticlimactic things we've had, and I think so, I'd like to know what you think. We went really early in the morning looking for Daulat ki chaat. And you remember, itni jaldi uthe hum. Oh, there's a chai guy also yaar in Chandni Chowk. Sorry, we'll come to him later. And that Daulat ki chaat is not actually a chaat. It's whipped cream, right? Like it looks beautiful, but I mean, it's not like, I don't know. Tell me.
Really? Bite your tongue, man. It is beautiful. It's ethereal. It's foamy. It's got beautiful flavors in it. Rocky can take you through the exact procedure of how it's made, but it's beautiful. How can you even say that? Like
It's a real art to make that, but frankly, what flavor does it have other than sugar and pistachio,
pista
lychee or whatever?
and saffron.
Yeah, okay.
They put
Okay, yeah, but I mean, it's too subtle for the tongue of Delhi. Yeah,
it's
I mean, what does it leave you with in your mouth other than air?
I
Which
agree.
is why it's a very fine thing to. I mean, it's definitely something you have to try because it's incredibly difficult to make, and it's made only in a very sliver of a season. I mean, it's probably only for a month or so, or a couple of months that they make it in the winters.
Made by November end, and they make it in December, January, February, and by March they sort of start winding it up. And the reason why they can do it is because it's a large sort of parat, a large clay vessel, very shallow, with milk. They beat it with silken threads here till the froth rises up in it, and only in winters does the froth actually stay. The summer makes the bubbles pop, and then they gather this foam and they keep piling it up, and that's the chaat. Sweetened milk foam, essentially whipped up into this foam which is gathered, and that's why people love it. I mean, it's the same as the Nimish in Lucknow. If some of you are from Lucknow wondering what it is, but it's the flavor is absolutely incredible because it is. I mean, the name Daulat ki chaat comes from the fact that, like Daulat, like money, you will never be satisfied with eating it. When you put it in your mouth, it turns to nothing. Daulat is nothing. Like you put it in your mouth and poof, it's gone. And no matter how much you have, you'll always be dissatisfied. So, उसी तरीके से जनाब दौलत की चाट भी वही है कि जितना भी आप खा लें, आपकी नीयत पूरी नहीं होगी, पेट नहीं भरेगा. दौलत की तरह आप हमेशा ललचाएंगे और खाने के लिए, और आपकी नीयत नहीं भरेगी. तो इससे बहुत
Achha, it's philosophical.
And the other reason why it's called Daulat ki chaat is because if you're going to have any kind of flavor come through, you're going to have to spend so much money and eat so much of it that you have to be a rich person to start with, right? But
I can't believe you guys are scoffing at Daulat ki chaat.
I think it's so satisfying when he cuts it because it's basically foam. It's really okay, that makes sense. It's only there in the winter because in the summer that foam will just melt away. And Delhi winters, you guys know, are bloody freezing. It's very satisfying to watch him cut that foam because it's just foam with a solid form. But that is the only satisfying part that I liked about Daulat ki chaat. But yeah, so that's as far as the charts are concerned. Any more chart inputs before we move on to via the chai we move to Chola Bhatura?
तू बाहर तो हमें देखो बताता हूँ फिर दौलत की चाट का मजाक उड़ाते हो तुम दोनों.
By God.
अकेले मैं दोनों को तू भी आ जा.
ये प्रशांत के एक्सपेंसिव शो ने किसी महंगे वाले शेफ ने बोला कि नो एक्चुअली दिस इज नॉट सच अ बिग डील. हम नहीं कहते, हमें तो बड़ी अच्छी लगती है.
Now, if you guys are ever in Chandni Chowk, this is something I highly recommend. This is not a anticlimax. It's just a cup of tea, but it's not just a cup of tea.
Which one are you talking about? I'm intrigued because I have one special place myself.
It is just the stairs. It's at the base of the stairs which you climb up to Jama Masjid.
Ustad tea stall, Munna Ustad.
In Meena Bazaar, on the eastern side, eastern gate of Jama Masjid.
Yes, correct. That's the
And
one.
Ustad chai is a latte. If you talk about chai latte that you find in all the doody dada places now all over the world, that is the original chai latte.
And-
And the way
Phenomenal.
that,
And as the old Delhi saying goes, from the Mughloं ke zamane se, latte paate se nahi mante.
yeah. So Ustad Chai Wala is an institution, and you can't have only one cup. I mean, and it is so visual. It's a visual treat to
Yes.
just stand outside it and just watch how they make the chai, because they do it at such a ferocious speed and they do it so beautifully. It's like an orchestra playing. You know, one guy is frothing a milk, one guy is picking up the froth, one guy is pouring the tea through a used socks. No, not a used socks, but
It does look like a used smoke.
but it looks like a
That
used sock.
explains the special
And-
flavor.
Yeah, and then just dropping that dollop of not dollop, but dollop of
Foam.
that froth foam on top. It's just incredibly yum.
I kid you not. If the video of it being prepared is online, you should check it out.
I have lovely pictures of it because I'd gone there for a photo walk,
You did a photo
for
of
a food walk. I'll share those pictures with you. You might want to.
Rocky and I led a food walk also in Old Delhi once, and that was where we started from.
It's very satisfying to watch it being made, and when you actually taste it, it's not an anticlimax. It does taste amazing.
It is phenomenal, and basically what they do is they take a glass, they put 20 washed glasses in 2 rows, and then they first start with milk. They put little hot dollop of milk. Then one guy is frothing the milk on the other side and making this big foam. And one guy takes this, it's a long muslin cloth funnel, and he just pours the tea concentrate into it and pours it all over the 20 glasses. Then the guy puts the frothy milk on top, and then it's taken and beaten 20 times at super speed to create this really airy tea. And that's the only way to describe it. He put so much air in it with that movement, so fast, so brisk. And it's a treat to just take a sip, man. It transports you. This is the best tea in the world. Forget all these Chinese.
Yeah, I think it's the best tea in the world, no
Best
doubt.
tea, definitely the best.
This is the best.
How can it not be? It's in Delhi. It is the best.
No, but and don't underestimate the crowd of people waiting to just. And he only sells chai. It's not like he's diversified into Chinese food and chow mein. He has been selling chai. He only sells chai.
And rusks, some rusk biscuits also. Nice old-fashioned rusk biscuits made in Dalda.
So it's phenomenal.
That area itself is also a great place to just hang out and taste the flavors. I mean, for instance, if you just walk down towards the Jama Masjid stairs from Ustad Chai Wala, you have a biryani place there. You can have biryani there. As you're climbing up the stairs, you'll have kebab walas who will set up shop, when the sun is going down and it's becoming cooler in the summers or in the winters in the afternoon. You can have kebabs on the go. There'll be a Ruh Afza wala there, who will give you like chilled Ruh Afza during the summer months. So there's just so much food activity happening all around there that you can spend a whole afternoon there. I mean, winters or summers, whenever you go. I mean, summers, if you go, it's best to go around 4 o'clock because that's when the action begins to pick up with the kebab wala setting up and the watermelon wala and all of those fellows. But yeah, definitely a must-go place.
You can spend a whole day there, yeah, because when you go into that street opposite Jama Masjid, of course, the Ustad tea stall is right there. If you go early in the morning, start your day with the Ustad chai, then walk all the way around down that street and behind Kareem's, and you'll come to the Nihari. What's the name of the Nihari? I forget the name of the Nihari shop here.
We ate there. That you're talking about that sweet roti, that thick sweet roti.
No, Hari, Niku.
Achha, no, sorry. No, yeah, there is one place. It's like just like
I think
10
Rahim ki Nihari, I think, Rock.
That's correct. I think Rahim ki Nihari.
But before that, Rocky, when you go just away from the stairs of this chai shop, on the right, we ate there. Yeah? We had a breakfast with that. What is that?
We had that giant paratha with the halwa.
The halwa parantha.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So there's like so many places you guys can just keep trying stuff and there'll be new stuff all along.
So then you go there, there's the Shahi Tukda that you get right across it. In the evenings, you can have hot milk with the rabdi right next to Al Jawahar. At Al Jawahar, you can have some phenomenal snacks and kebabs and foods. Kareem's, you can eat some brilliant seeks. The seek from Kareem is the best in the world, as long as you eat it within 30 seconds of it coming off the fire, because it's purely cooked in its own fat. So the minute it cools down, it becomes inedible. But if you eat it hot, There is nothing as good as that seek. And if you don't believe me, just go stand next to the guy who's making the seeks. Let him put the seek out in a plate and hand it to you right then and there and take a bite. You'll be transported to heaven here.
Now let's get to the. I mean, I'm itching to get to the butter chicken because I loved that gentleman when his entire family came and showed us how to cook it. And Rocky and me will also tell you the story of how the butter chicken came about. But let's get the chola bhatura out of the way because I remember we did this real chola bhatura PhD. We did one in Sadar Bazaar, then we did one in the other bazaar. I was like to make that joke. Then we did one near Delhi University somewhere. Then we did. Then we did
Chacha
the-
Di Hatti, Kamlanagar.
Then we did the chola bhatura in South Extension, that thing at the back, that sweet shop at the back. So, gentlemen, take it away. Which chola bhatura is? Why is it different? Why is it special? And why is the Sadar Bazaar one so popular? Where they just have 2 benches, guys. I mean, you'll be shocked. This famous guy, it's just like 5 benches. He doesn't even have chairs and tables.
And often very, very narrow streets. So even if you're sitting on the benches, you're trying to stand there and eat, you have to keep one eye out or both eyes out on all the traffic that's going through so you don't get trampled. But you know what? It's worth it. You should be able to risk your life a little bit because at the end of it is Nand ke chole. And if I remember correctly, the family came across the border and the most amazing thing is that they don't actually use any onion and garlic in it.
Right.
So
Right.
I think they use some, again, tea leaves or whatever to get that really dark color. And then they get the mango, the curry along with it and chola bhaturas. And oh man, although there are 2 shops now, aren't there, Rock?
Well, there's 2 brothers, but when you stand facing it, the one on the right is better. The one in the corner on the left is not as good as the one on the right. But you can't just say Nand ke chole. You have to say Nand ke chole. And just to conclude the last discussion we were having, it's Haji Shabrati, the Nihari wala. I just got reminded from my incredible memory palace. Haji Shabrati is the Nihari guy. And then, of course, you get good Nihari at Al Jawahar also, and you get good Nihari at Kareem's also. But Haji Shabrati is...
No, Rahim is also a good one. What Mayur was saying. That's also
Oh,
very good.
Lucknow mein, I think.
Rahim, नहीं, इसमें Old Delhi में ही है.
I mean,
जामा मस्जिद के पास ही है Rahim.
but मेरे को क्या फर्क पड़ता है? मैं तो रोटी खानी.
Now we're at Chola. I think the number 1 Chola Bhatura in all of Delhi is Nand ke chole because there's no taste quite like it. It is purely a Delhi taste, and that masala that he uses, the taste is just incredible. With garam bhature, transported.
The other one that is very famous is the one near Delhi University, and it is.
Chache di hatti.
Yeah, I think the lines there are longer than even Nand ke chole, but probably because it's all students, Delhi University students come there. But that is also amazing. We guys had another very good shoot because we went early in the morning, and there also you had to stand and eat. We went really early in the morning and shot over there. What was that like?
But Chacha's is also like an institution because again, like he comes early and he leaves by lunchtime. वो अपने घर चले जाता है खाना खाने. So if you don't get your chola bhatura by I think 1:30 or 2 o'clock, then it's all over for you.
And he's
So
a
you have
very
to-
grumpy man. He doesn't really
He's
want to
very
talk
grumpy,
to stuff.
very grumpy
He's
man.
very
He
busy
doesn't want-
putting out really good food. He's like, मेरे से बात मत करो.
Yeah, yeah.
Disturb मत करो.
And he sits literally like it's a hole in the wall. I'm talking about, I haven't been there like in about 7-8 years. When I last went there, it was just a hole in the wall. It's like maybe 5 feet. It's a recess in the wall in a by lane, in Kamla Nagar, just behind Delhi University. And he just sits there with his 2 mundus. One of them is frying and he's pouring out, giving you the chana and giving you the bhatura. And there's always a queue of students there. And how much is it? It's very cheap also. Yeah, it's like
No,
60-70 bucks or something like that.
Yeah, all these places are very cheap. It used to be 8 rupees when we were rich and then 10 rupees out. But the special part about that guy is that his bhaturas have aloo in them. Yeah. They have a very beautifully spiced aloo inside the bhatura. It's a very, very thin lining. So the bhatura itself has a lot of flavor and taste. But the cholas are just, he claims they are Rawalpindi style cholas. He's been there forever. So obviously, family that came from somewhere in Pakistan, Rawalpindi or one of those places, obviously. But what flavor he has, that is really a legend in the DU. If you ever go there, just ask anyone where Chache Di Hatti is. It's behind the back gate of that college. Kya naam hai uska?
Kirodimal College.
Kirodimal.
Karodimal College? No.
Yeah, Kirodimal College. Yeah,
पीछे है.
yeah, absolutely. correct.
Hansraj, I think you might be talking about Hansraj.
No.
No.
Not Hansraj.
It's not
Kirodimal.
it's behind KMC.
100% sure.
Okay. But so it's in the back gate, and Mayur and I both are from DU. and we were there at the same time. Mayur joined a couple of years after me, but we used to go there and stand outside waiting for people who had extra money to buy us plates. We used to make sorry faces and stand there.
I was eating there before you.
Oh, yeah.
Uncle, you're so much senior. You
Yes,
are.
uncle. Yes, beta. Yes, beta. आप अभी निकल में खेल रहे थे हॉकी.
I also went to DU, but I never ate there. I never ate.
Oh God, you hoity-toity. If you haven't eaten those, then you really missed out on your growing up years.
Well, I caught up with them when I was growing up with you boys. So thank you for that. But I loved that meal. It was very satisfying. I used to love all our meals when we started early in the morning, when we started shooting at sunrise, and our break used to be breakfast. And that was one such shoot, so I loved it.
Oh, Niku, what are you eating right now?
I'm having a burger, yeah. I haven't had dinner.
Wow, yeah.
Very healthy, yeah, very healthy, really.
So, moving on.
Oh, no, third one. I want to put this to rest. A lot of people say Sitaram Divanchand is like really incredible chola bhaturas, and they are really incredible. But there's two things that make them lose out on a really good spot. One is bhaturas are thanda. He serves cold bhaturas. They are not freshly made. And second, his cut and kept for a long time. It comes out of cold storage. Some people love that taste, but I frankly, part of eating in Delhi is that everything is fresh and hot and brought to you piping. And that's what Delhi food is all about. So I don't like them that much. I mean, I like the chole. I don't like the bhaturas that much.
Yeah, I have a confession. I think even the Haldiram chola bhaturas are damn good. Yeah. So every time I drive down to Jaipur, my breakfast I know is going to be at Haldiram, which is just behind, just around Dharwada. And I'm going to stop there and have a chola bhatura, no matter what. I mean, that's the only exception I make for chola bhatura. Like otherwise, I don't eat chola bhatura generally.
But listen, a nice revelation was the one there's that Baba Nagpal in Lajpat Nagar, which is supposed to be very good. But we went to Kakaji's, which is further inside the lane, and that was a revelation because that's a really good place for chola bhaturas also.
Those two are about half a kilometer apart, and there's Baba Nagpal is out in front, and everybody swears by it. But if you go down that street, when Baba Nagpal, if you keep it on your right hand side and you keep going down the street, you'll come to Kakaji's chole bhature. And for my money, those are the best chola bhaturas you'll get in South Delhi. So if you're in South Delhi, that's the place to go to. Write it down, Kake the Hatti, and this is in Lajpat Nagar, near Baba Nagpal.
Cool. So now that's the chola bhaturas out of the way. Now, gentlemen, we've done a lot of digging about butter chicken. I'm sure whoever has a better memory than me will tell you the story of butter chicken because we also featured that in one of the shows we did because it was invented in Delhi. But we have tried butter chicken in every place that boasts of butter chicken in Delhi. And we also rated which are the top. You remember we did that?
Right.
With a blindfold, we like mixed them up that this is from here, this from here, this from now, try which is the best. So first let's go with where does the name butter chicken come from, like the dish?
There were two Kundan Lals, Kundan Lal Jaggi and Kundan Lal Gujral. Kundan Lal Jaggi was the man in the kitchen, Kundan Lal Gujral was the guy outside, and they started Moti Mahal with some money which they'd borrowed from a guy who was a third partner. And in Daryaganj they started Moti Mahal. And one day a bunch of people had come to, they asked for food and there obviously wasn't enough food. There were a couple of tandoori chickens left over. And so Kundan Lal Jaggi went into the kitchen and he just saw these tomatoes and stuff lying there and he made a tomato gravy, put this butter chicken in that and served it to them along with naans and rotis and they went berserk here. And the next day they came back again to eat it and then for days they kept coming back. And that's how the sort of invention of butter chicken happened now. Both the Kundan Lals were brothers. They were like brothers. So we don't want to get into whether it was Kundan Lal Jaggi or Kundan Lal Gujral or what the situation was. But Jaggi used to be in the kitchen. And they came out with this butter chicken recipe that then was refined. And then as time went on, the late 60s, early 70s, the makers of those butter chickens went the Moti Mahal Deluxe one way, the Moti Mahals one way, and the Mughal Mahal, which was the third one. And the Mughal Mahal was a brilliant butter chicken. However, that has changed now. I don't like it that much anymore. I ate there recently and it had really gone down. I don't know why they changed the recipe, but maybe the guy wasn't there.
The Mughal Mahal is the one near Patel Nagar.
Yeah, that's the one.
Okay, so I really like that one. So just rocket a slip of tongue. They put the tandoori chicken in the butter. He said he put the butter chicken in the butter. So it was a way to basically make stale tandoori chicken like
give a new life to stale tandoori chicken.
Giving new life to stale tandoori chicken.
Having said that, that's not a bad idea. Maybe we can patent that, Rocky. You take butter chicken and then you put it in some more butter. I mean, how can you go wrong with more
You know,
butter?
it also goes to the heart of, I mean, if you look anywhere around the world, wherever people have very little, or they have little resources, or they have little, you know, I mean, they're just constrained. There are constraints to what they can do with their cuisine. I think they come up with really fine cuisine there, yeah. I mean, what was butter chicken a response of? You know, it was in those 1947 days when a lot of refugees were coming in Delhi and people were eating, and he didn't want to waste it, right? I mean, today people would just throw it out, but he didn't want to waste it, and he thought of how he could sort of give that chicken a new lease of life. You know, it had already lost its life
So to
for
speak.
people's pleasure. So he hit upon this great idea, and wherever you look, even in Rajasthan, you know, if you go travel through Rajasthan, their cuisine, I mean, some of those, it's such an arid area with such, I mean, there's virtually, I mean, there's so little that grows there, but they make so much of that. You know, like the vegetables and what they do with meat, for instance, with just 3-4 things, they'll turn out a great dish. And I think this also, I mean, butter chicken's a great example of that. You know, with very little, he turned something spectacular. From Madurai to, you know, Srinagar, you can find butter chicken.
Yeah, but I want to say that it's innovation that happened that made butter chicken. You're talking about recycling made butter chicken as a, you know, way to stop wastage. I don't agree with that. There was no wastage there, because this story I've heard from all the people who were involved in the butter chicken, the families, and the story is very, very clear. It was made last minute because they were short on food where the people had to be served, and that innovative idea came from there. So I think let's put it down to innovation and cut out the story of that it was trying to reclaim lost meat, lost chicken, because it wasn't. It was really an innovation.
Okay, now boys, you remember when we did this whole butter chicken sequence, we went to, I don't know whether we went to all the places in the same day. I don't think we could have gone to all the places in the same day.
No, we did. We shot it in 2 days. We shot there, but at the end, we got one butter chicken from the Mughal Mahal in Rajendra Place. We got one butter chicken from Moti Mahal in GK, Greater Kailash, GK1. And we got one butter chicken from Pandara Road, Have More. Those are the 3 best
Correct.
butter we found after eating at about 25 places.
So I would say that, you know, the one then in Rajendra Nagar or Patel Nagar, which is owned by that Sardarji, who was really sweet, man. His wife came, his kids came. It was a fantastic shoot. I'll never forget. His butter chicken is the purest in the sense that they hardly put any masalas. You remember, it's just pure tomato puree with salt. That's it, and butter. You remember? Its color was the most like natural tomato color. It was like the color of squashed tomatoes. That's it. There was nothing else to it.
No, it was, and it was brilliant. The flavor was incredible, and that is the original recipe. Now there's a new restaurant called Daryaganj. You know, Daryaganj has the original recipe. It's by Kundan Lal Jaggi's grandson, and they have the old recipe, which again is that pure chunky tomato gravy and a tandoori chicken added into that with very little spices added on top. Now, of course, there's a little change, and the Mughal Mahal one, I agree, Nico, at Rajendra Place, the Mughal Mahal was the purest of the lot. But that guy has also changed his butter chicken now, sadly. I mean, we went there 6-7 years ago. It's changed now and it's not as good. But as of now, Daryaganj is the closest restaurant that will give you the flavor of the old butter chicken. The new one has kasturi methi, it has red
Yeah,
chili,
they put all sorts of stuff in it. Yeah.
instead of butter, it has a whole bunch of other stuff that make it what it is. But it's different.
So, any other inputs on butter chicken?
I love it. I want it now.
Instead of talking about it, it's best eaten.
Yeah.
No doubt. Now, moving on from the butter chicken and chaat and chola bhature we've done, we are almost into the hour. So we will wind up with another amazing thing that you get in Delhi. And again, you get this across Delhi, which is mutton curry. Now, this is very famous in one place near Safsaj Enclave. ना वो जो cinema है जहाँ line लगी रहती है, which used to be a little dhaba. Now it's a bloody huge restaurant. What's it called?
Rajendra Dhaba.
Rajendra Dhaba.
Yeah. So not just mutton curry, but also chicken curry. Like there's just curry, like piece of meat and curry. There's that. Then there's one place in Mayapuri where a fan took us, which had mutton curry, but also had this maghaz. It's in the middle of this.
Khalsa. That was
Ashok meat.
No, it was called the Khalsa restaurant. Ashok meat is in Old Delhi. Ashok and Ashok. They're famous for them. Yeah, that's Old Delhi. But what Tipu's talking about is the Khalsa restaurant in Mayapuri. It's that industrial area.
Yes.
Where they had liver and
correct.
all the
organ
meat.
Maghaz, brain, all that.
It's amazing how I'm remembering all the meat stuff.
That because you are a veggie like elephant, or मुन्ना तेरी याददाश्त तो जंगली हाथी से भी तेज है. And
अरे
fast language.
कुछ लोग को ना खाने का शौक नहीं है. That's the problem. The thing was called liver dana, and it was liver dana, which was chunks of liver with marination, then wrapped around with charbi or fat, and then cooked with a with a seek of fat on top, which drips down into the liver as it slowly turns there. So it is liver coated with fat and masalas cooked for a long time. And what a flavor it is!
I will just advise you, don't go there with your family. It's in the middle of this industrial area. It is a quintessential seedy place, but it has certain meat preparations which you won't get in the rest of the office. We haven't, of course, touched the obvious ones which we will end with, I'm sure, Kareem's and the ones that Delhi is most famous for, and Bukhara, but we'll stay away from the 5-star hotels. But let's start with this Rajinder. What made him so famous? Yeah, he used to be this little guy. Now that whole complex is his, man.
This all started in the, as far as I remember, 70s, late 70s, early 80s, we started going there. And outside Kamal Cinema on the left, there used to be a big empty field. And in that field, in Shamianas, this guy used to set up a kitchen with 5 or 6 fires burning. And his curries were magnificent. I mean, it used to be very Delhi style. Just masala curries and rotis he used to give. The chicken curry, mutton curry. And then, of course, he introduced tandoori chicken. Then he introduced boti. Then he introduced Sikh. And now he's inside the Kamal Cinema complex. He's right next to Kamal Cinema in the market. And what food he used to have in the old days. Yeah. I mean, there was nothing like a winter's evening where you'd go and stand there at 2 o'clock in the morning, freezing cold, eating these hot curries and hot rotis coming off the tandoor. That was the magic of that place.
What also helped Rajendra Dhaba was that you could take your bottle of beer there and stand there and have your beer and eat your kebabs and your curries. So that was another unique thing about BYOB.
And back in the days when Delhi, laws were optional, some people who could manage the law could, stay open till late. Back when I was in college also, and even in my late school days, and I used to come here for holidays, there were there were 3 places where you could get food no matter what time. And these days, kids, you wouldn't know that nightclubs used to remain open till 3, 4 in the morning. I mean, I'm shocked that in 2020 that can't happen. In the 90s, it used to happen. And after you wound up and you couldn't afford to go to the coffee shop of a 5-star hotel, you either went to IIT. There was no flyover. It was just IIT. There was no IIT flyover back then. Or you went to Dhola Kuan, or you went to Rajendra Ka Dhaba.
Or Mulchand.
Mulchand.
Yeah.
Anda paranthas at night.
Exactly. Now, the places like Dhola Kuan and IIT and Mulchand will only give you anda parathas. But Rajendra Ka Dhaba, you could actually go and get meat even late at night. So that was his USP. And I guess, but now there's more than one shop, right? I haven't been there in years, honestly. I just pass it. Now they're big, these neon signs, there are 3, 4 of them. So I'm guessing there's more than one now.
I'm not sure. I just know that you can have home delivery also now, so you don't have to.
Is it as good?
Yeah. He's still good. He's still good. It's robust. There's no refinement or anything like that, but it's just great food. It's just like, I'm hungry and this is going to hit the spot. It's that kind of food.
He's got 2 shops there now. Both of them completely converted into kitchens. You're going to stand outside and eat, or you can take it, pack it and take it home by the kilo. And I strongly recommend you try his curries. They are very, very good. The mutton curry and the chicken curry, both. But the other place that used to be open till about 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock in the morning was Pandara Road. And the Pandara Road is shutting down only in the late 90s, closer to 2000, because customers stopped coming. I mean, Delhi used to be a city that used to party all night. All you kids out there, your lives are pathetic. You have a horrible world, but when Mayur and I and Niku and Uncle Prashant were growing up, Delhi used to be throbbing at night. We used to go to nightclubs at 10, 11, party till 3 in the morning. They used to close at all different hours. Then we would get out and come down to Pandara if we had money. If we didn't have money, Rajinder, if we didn't even have that money, we'd come down to IIT. And if we didn't have that money, we'd go to Dhola Kuan, stand outside making sad faces, begging people for food. So used to be fun there.
There's a little bit of a thread, common thread underlying this story about growing up in Delhi.
Who had money? Niku, you and I were poor.
Yeah, we were poor. So I remember I did not even ever make the Rajendra Dhaba cut. I was only in the IIT cut at the best of times.
Anda paratha.
Paratha cut.
But I will say that I've tried all these places, but for me, the curry that I still find most satisfying, and it's not known for its curry. And if you guys remember when we went to Kareem's in Jama Masjid, when they give you that hot naan, which is just beautiful the way it comes out and it's hot, and they give you that ceramic, like the 80s ke jo ceramic bowl, usme one piece of chicken with a curry.
Melamine bowl. Yeah.
I find that very satisfying. For me, Kareem's is it.
lovely dal. I mean, see, Delhi is full of these mutton curry and chawal, mutton curry roti, rajma chawal, dal chawal. You know, I mean, you'll have them. You have them in Nehru Place. You have them in Patel Nagar. You have them in outside Kutub, near the Kutub area, industrial area, whatever it is. So there are all these clusters everywhere, and by and large, they've got the palate down to pat, and they're delicious. I mean, there are so many now that you're spoiled for choice. But if you just walk up to a street guy and you try what he's serving in terms of rajma or dal or chawal or mutton or whatever, you will usually find it nice and spicy and hot. And this is what a lot of places in the country don't get. If your food is served hot, that's 30% of the battle won. Yeah. Uske baad, taste is not really that important.
Unless it's ice cream.
Listen, in that context, in Connaught Place, you remember this place called Anand Dhaba?
Biryani.
It was behind Scindia House.
Yeah, I remember.
I mean, that was also an institution. Yeah, I mean, it could seat like 500 people at one time, and during lunch hours, it was complete chaos because like all the office goers would land up there for chola chana and rajma chana, and you know, I think it was a vegetarian place. I don't remember they served meat at that time, but
There was
No,
an
no.
Anand- I know there was an
did
Anand
they have
Biryani.
meat? Did they
Of
have
course, Anand Biryani. Yeah.
Biryani.
Anand
Oh,
Biryani was
okay,
very
right,
famous.
right,
Yeah,
right,
it was, we used to pack biryani, but you know
But the
what,
chola chawal was really nice. Chola chawal.
what Rocky said about these little places, you guys try stuff. I mean, we're not going to get into the South Indian because Delhi has some amazing South Indian food also. You know, whether it is not just dal and dosa and kya kehte hai, uttapam, but even proper, you know, morakoram, vetakoram, you know, sambar, rasam, all that stuff. There are many places, we won't get into it, we don't have time. But like in the entire CP area, because there's so many government offices, and those of you who understand the government, you know, they're cadre from, you know, Tamil Nadu, Kerala, Punjab, Bengal. So each of their palate has to be taken care of. So during the lunch break in Central Secretariat area, there are these 4 small behind Jantar Mantar, which has now been taken over completely by protests. There are these dosa guys whose dosas are very authentic, and they are from the south, churning out dosas, hundreds, because all the offices come and eat dosas. You know, in Chitranjan Park, you have some amazing Bengali food. In fact, they get their koshundi, jo bhi kehte ho, mustard ka, it comes from Bengal. They don't get like Punjab ki koshundi. So that's why Delhi has all these like gems in little places tucked away.
No, it does. It does. In fact, when you can't mention Delhi and not mention the Andhra Bhavan thali. Yeah? Andhra Bhavan has the most incredible thali that you'll ever get of the food of Andhra Pradesh. It's hot, it's spicy, it's cheap, it's mostly chicken and fish and you know, mutton and non-vegetarian food. They also have vegetarian thalis, but that is a place you have to go to if you're from Andhra and you're missing your food. You'll get really authentic food there, and you know, it's every community is represented in Delhi. So if you go to Majnu Ka Tila, you'll have incredible momos and chung and really nice food from, you know, from Tibet and the Northeast and all those.
Yeah.
When we were in college, you used to get amazing buffalo meat and rice, just buffalo meat and rice. You remember? It used to be amazing. I don't know if they still serve it. And this was not in a restaurant. You went into, you know, Majnu Ka Tila through that entire colony, refugee colony. It was like Kacha Basti type, and something that looked like a house. They'd say, this is the place. You walked in there, they'd just have like 3 tables, and you sit there and they'd give you buff, and they'd call it chili buff and rice.
And pork chops at Chanakya. Remember pork chops at Chanakya? Fantastic. You still get momos there. No more pork chops, I think.
You get tandoori momos now.
Yeah,
I think
tandoori
somebody
momos.
there was the one that invented the tandoori momos. Very scary.
But those pork chops were like barbecued pork chops were fantastic. They just used to be just.
It is
Hey,
there.
what
You don't
about
get
the
those
place?
things now.
What about the place in CP in the lane where you got the double egg, double mutton, double egg, double chicken, double egg, double paneer,
Kati,
rolls.
Nizam's Kati, behind Plaza Cinema.
And I may be lynched for this because the original Nizams and the so-called inventors of the Kati roll, I mean, they say they in
Don't say it.
in
Don't say
Kolkata.
it. Don't say it.
I like
Kolkata,
the
no,
Delhi.
no,
I like the Delhi ones better because they're from Delhi and they're the best.
Although we did go to the Nizams in Kolkata, I remember. That was also
We
quite nice.
did. And it was brilliant. And here's the thing about food competitions, guys. You like your mummy. I like my mummy. Your mummy better than my mummy. My mummy better than your mummy. Doesn't matter. You enjoy your mummy. I enjoy my mummy. Everybody happy.
Okay. Mummy.
Okay. Everybody happy. Same with food. You like your kathi roll, I like my kathi roll, everybody happy. You get chance, you try my food, I try your food, everybody happy. You're better than mine better than yours, not better. So carry on, enjoy eating and love your food. That's the spirit of Delhi. And though, I mean, Delhi had this big open spirit of saying, bring it on, come on, bring more, get more influences. Let's try this, let's try that. That spirit sadly has gone out of the window a little bit. But there are old people like Prashant and myself now still who are carrying the flag of, a well secular, a good, hardcore Delhi that welcomes all comers from all parts of the country and enjoys all kinds of food and is open to all influences. Right, Uncle Prashant?
Absolutely, man. I mean, Delhi is a great place for food simply because either it had no choice, people just came here, or people were welcomed here, or they came of their own volition, or they came to conquer it. Whatever the reason may have been, but they all enriched the food of this place, yeah, and the culture of this place.
And which is why I say, and you don't offend anyone, while what Rocky said is true, and I expected him to say something that is Ekta Zindabad and everybody should, but I do think that the variety of food, like for example, other than seafood, and I agree Delhi is too far from any sea to get spectacular seafood, but like when you go to parts of the south, like when they give you dal makhani, you're like, dude, seriously, don't call this dal. Or when you go to certain parts in the north, in Punjab, and you ask for a dosa, you're like, dude, seriously, this is sambar. It's like you put water in dal. But in Delhi, you can get the most authentic, like in Andhra Bhavan, at many, even Sagar, for all, its commercialness and all, it's criticized that it's become this, fast food, but it still has really good dosas, yeah. You have the variety of food. You get great Bengali food here. You get great Punjabi food, of course. You can get great idiyappams here. So that way, I think Delhi has a spread which no place in the country has. So on that, I do think we are kind of unique. So pardon me. And also the other thing is, other than Lucknow, no place in the country, not just Lucknow, certain parts in UP, no place in the country can get you kakori kebabs like Delhi. It's not easy to get a kakori kebab.
I was wondering when you would bring that up because Rocky's favorite kakori kebab is in Delhi.
Also barra kebabs. Also barras.
I think, listen, as far as kakori goes, the Al Kausar kakori, and Al Kausar is next to Vasant Vihar now on the main road, on the outer ring road. Al Kausar has better kakori than anywhere else as far as I'm concerned. I'm sure there are other places and other people and they might like their kakori better. But if you haven't tried Al Kausar kakori, you haven't eaten the finest kakori in India.
Even barra kebab. You don't get barra kebab in many places in India.
Barra to Delhi, yeah. Barra is Delhi.
Barra is quintessential Delhi.
It's button barra, quintessential Delhi. Your Moti Mahals are brilliant for it. Daryaganj is brilliant for it.
Minar is brilliant for it.
Bandara Road is brilliant. Yeah, Minar is another old-time one in GK.
Even the Malcha Marg Moti Mahal is very good. That's Moti Mahal, hai na? Kya hai Malcha Marg mein?
Correct.
Their parras are amazing.
Yeah. I mean, that's a Delhi thing. Yeah, the love of milk and cream, and add that to mutton and marinate that in milk and then grow it and then eat it in yogurt and all. I mean, it is just mutton barra in Delhi is finer than any other mutton barra in the world. Yeah.
And it's very difficult to get a barra and a kakori right, because I've tried kakori. Whenever I see kakori on the menu, I always go for kakori kebab because it really melts in your mouth. I mean, maybe one of you gentlemen can tell us why kakori, especially, it has to be smashed until it is so fine that it's like sand. It melts in your mouth. And the barra, because it is like, I think it's a spine of the goat. My mouth is watering. It's the spine of the goat. So it has to be done perfectly without like taking the meat apart from the inside and the outside. So it's very difficult to get both these right. And other than Delhi and like I said, a few places in UP, I haven't, like, people have got kakori on the menu and I bite it and I'm like, dude, this is not kakori. How can you call it a kakori?
Yeah. And you're forgetting the Wenger's Shami kebabs.
Yeah.
Oh, very nice.
Take home, right? Huh.
Yeah. It's one of those things like, you like
Childhood taste, like with Cavender's milk.
you like Kasata ice cream because, you had it when you were a kid and it was a big treat and all. But like, I mean, that Shami kebab, frankly, is not, I mean, it's okay. It's just a big Shami kebab.
No, I used to go there for the Black Forest pastry and the pineapple pastry, man.
Yeah. No, but if you take a Wenger's Shami kebab and heat it to a ridiculous level, and then put it in between two raw slices of bread and smash it and then eat that sandwich, it is still a brilliant taste and you can try it. I mean, the Cavender's milkshakes are, of course, legendary, but that's a separate issue. Kakori, Niku, the name of Al Kausar, like when we talk about Chole Bhature, when we say Anand ke chole bhature, we are like, hi, same way we say Al Kausar. The whole line is Al Kausar, jahan kebab uthao aur toot jate hain. You cannot just say Al Kausar. You have to say jahan kebab uthao aur toot jate hain. And that's the kakori is so fine. It's so delicate that you can't lift it off the plate. It just crumbles. It just breaks apart.
It just amazes me of how they take it off the seek here.
Yeah, man.
Because the minute they've just taken it off the seek, they don't break it. It's perfect in shape, but you can't lift it off that plate. It'll just break.
No, you can't lift it. Yeah.
You just have to sort of dig into it. It's like a paste. By the time you get it, it's not a kebab that you're putting in your mouth, but it's that, with that rumali roti and that, it's
outside. Yeah, guys, we have to get together one of these days. Let's have a kebab evening, man.
We can go out. No, out is safe.
Yeah,
out is safe. We can all come in our own cars and meet there and stand outside and eat, because eating outside is safer than eating inside.
Yeah.
Great.
So, Niku, you were saying mutton barra. Mutton barra is the chape. They make them out of chap. So it is the ribs. And that's one thing that most people shouldn't forget. Delhi is a sort of semi-arid landscape. The mutton in and around Delhi is actually very, very fine quality. They've refined the goats over centuries to get the right breed, to have just the right amount of moisture and the meat, tender meat and the flavor. So Delhi, you're blessed with the kind of mutton you get in Delhi. You don't get such good mutton almost anywhere else, maybe with the exception of Jaipur and some of the drier parts of UP.
I believe Jaisalmer is very famous for its mutton.
Jaisalmer is brilliant mutton. Jaipur is brilliant for the mutton. Jodhpur is brilliant for lal mas. There are... So you need arid and semi-arid regions for goats to kind of develop the right flavor. So, Delhi is just blessed like that. And the kebabs of Delhi are finer than anywhere else in the world. And I'm saying this with full authority. I mean, you might find one kebab better in Lucknow. You might find one kebab better in Hyderabad. But overall, the kind of kebabs you have and the number of varieties, the variety of kebabs you have, nothing beats Delhi for kebabs here.
That's true.
Now, before we wind up, guys, since we're all Delhi ke munde, Delhi ke londe, one of us have become a Goa ka londa, Mayur Briganza. What, man? But so before we say goodbye to our audience, I had one announcement. Do write into us with your feedback, with your critique, with your food experiences. We will be doing one more episode with just your food experiences, your travel experiences. So write in at homp2020@gmail.com. I repeat, HOMP2020@gmail.com, because we'd like to have one full episode where you guys share your experiences with us. And why we're trying to create this Homper community, because once this horrible COVID is behind us, we will get Rocky, Mayur, Prashant and me back on the road, and we will come up with one season of a food show where Rocky and Mayur ride again, which will be the most spectacular and the most exciting ever, because all of you are going to be part of it. So do subscribe to our newsletter, where you will get behind the scene anecdotes and photographs, and we will put you on the database of the community. And when we get this going, we will make sure we have pit stops along the way where this entire community can get together, exchange ideas, we can have fun, we can have meals together. So write in at HOMP2020@gmail.com, and wherever you listen to this podcast, there's a link below that. If you click on that link, it opens a form. Fill in that form and you will be subscribing to our newsletter, and you will get to know more once you get that newsletter on what our future plans are. Yes, boys. Now, since we are all Delhi ke londe, before we say goodbye, tell us one Delhi place that you love. It may not be for its food, but because it's what you remember growing up.
Oh, good question. Please.
Sab pensive ho gaya yaar.
While people are thinking, I just want to say this to everybody out there listening. We are Delhi boys here. So we love Delhi and the food of Delhi. It has a special place in our hearts. So please adjust, buddy. If you're from Bangalore, what problem? Macha, what problem? No problem. But everybody loves the food of their homeland, of their mother state, of their city.
Where
and we are no
up,
exceptions. So we totally love it. If we were completely objective, we might have different views. But this is just a fun podcast where we're enjoying ourselves. So remember, love the food of your town and your city, and of course the food of everywhere else, which we deeply do. And Niku, can you repeat the question? We're from Delhi. Have we forgotten what you asked?
I said, tell us one place, because it's special for you, because you all grew up there. It may not have the best food or anything, but each of us should share that one place that is always special for us, and tell me why.
Okay, for me, it's very simple. Yeah, Uday Park, where Rocky and I grew up, will always be very, very special. A very, very close bunch of friends that grew up together and had all these adventures together. And now we're like spread all over the world, but still just those memories. And also because it had fantastic food. We would go every evening and play in the park, and we would get a succession of people going by. First, there would be the Bhel Puri Wala, and then there would be the Kale Palse.
Oh, lovely.
Then we used to have an ice cream guy who we all ran credits of. We liked him so much. We called him Dudnath. And later when we became friends with him, it was short to Dudu. We had the cotton candy. We had the Chola Kulcha guy who Rocky used to run up tabs of like 80 rupees. Oh no, Bhel Puri guy. Yeah. And the Bhel Puri guy who like Rocky used to end up like owing 80 rupees to. Imagine this is in the 70s. And these guys, just that, I mean, we gave them so much business. We had such amazing relationships with them. I mean, if we had such little money, imagine what they had then. And they would still, they'd be like, Achha, chalo, aaj kha lo, kal de dena. And the kal would sometimes be 21 days. Yeah. So Uday Park, all our friends there, the memories of playing together and eating lots of food. That's my special place in Delhi.
Yeah, and you've conveniently forgotten your favorite, man, Buddi Ke Baal.
Buddi Ka Baal. Buddi Ka Baal.
What's yours, Rocks?
I don't know, man. There's so many places that I truly love, but I think from the time I became a young man and capable of going out myself, Havemore at Pandara Road has sort of been that go-to place for me. I mean, I've grown up over there. I love the place. I've spent days and days and days eating there. And I also want to throw in Kareem's here, Jama Masjid. I mean, those two areas, you know, I knew the guys who used to run it before the present generation took over. I'm talking about the like mid-80s when I was a young strapping man looking for more food. I used to always end up, I mean, I used to have tabs at Pandara Road and Jama Masjid at Kareem's there. In fact, the guys there sometimes would offer me a free meal because I'd eat so much over there. But yeah, I mean, those two
Ye lo
places.
free khana aur agle ek hafte ke liye matana, please.
Pandara was special for me because, like I said, we only used to go there at like after 1 or 2 at night when everything was shut. And we were made to feel so welcome. The food was great, piping hot, used to come out fresh. And Kareem's, I mean, it was a different world for us. Yeah? And we always felt like, you know, we belonged. It was our city. And when we used to go there, there was so much love and respect and just such great food. So I think these two things really stand out in my head. Yeah? You know, just the love that people had for those places and the respect that the owners of those places had for the people there. Day or night, drunk or sober, fighting or otherwise, there was not a single time when any one of the owners of these two establishments would get flustered and start screaming and shouting. They were just wonderful, wonderful men. And what a beautiful city it used to be then. Yeah. Now, you know, now not so much. But earlier, Delhi was the place to be. When we grew up, it was a beautiful place to be.
Yeah, indeed, it was. And I remember because, you know, 70s and 80s, we were growing up in Chanakyapuri. We were staying there. And Chanakyapuri was like, you know, Ashoka Hotel on one side and Chanakya Cinema on the other hand. And in the 70s, there were very few cinema halls that would show English films. And the thrill used to be of like watching a film in Chanakya, stepping out, you know, it's evening time. The guys are setting up their stalls, like I was saying, those pork chops and all of that, kebabs being made. And you just stay there and you have a few of these things and you come back home totally satisfied, you know, and you've spent about 2-3 rupees, 4 rupees in all. And, you know, and I remember that it was so safe at that time. We used to cycle from Chanakyapuri all the way to Palam Airport. Palam Airport was the airport, you know, where you have Terminal 1 now in Delhi Airport. And we would just cycle to Palam Airport and back, and there was never a problem. I mean, those days are completely gone. I mean, I pity the kids growing up in Delhi now. I mean, they still have more spaces in Delhi than most other cities, frankly. So they're still lucky in that sense. But, you know, just that the safety factor and the fact that you could just take a bus and go to, the other place we used to love going was to take 610 number bus from Chanakapuri and going to Central and going to CP, you know, just to eat at Nerula's. You remember Nerula's in the outer circle? He sat there.
Chanakya had a Nerula's, Prashant. Chanakya had a Nerula's.
No, but that was much later. That was much later. I'm talking about the 70s. Well,
there are a lot of places in Delhi that will always be very special for me, including the CP and the Nurulas and all the Nurulas. The one place that we still go to, friends of mine from college, of course, I never had the money to go to Kareem's and Nizam's like Rich Rocky here, was Yashwant Place Momos. And those momos and that chutney, till today, I haven't been able to get that taste. And I can tell you, one of those friends who is now married to Meghna Gulzar, and he's also a founder of a tech company and, driving cars that cost as much as apartments. But even now, whenever Govind comes here, whenever Sukhdev is here, we go to Yashwant Place to have those momos like we used to in college. That place, although it's changed a lot, it's become a lot fancier, but you still have those stores selling momos. So that momo, that red chutney with, now I can't have, thumbs up, but back then it used to be with thumbs up. The Yashwant Place momo for me is still what defines my college days.
So Nikhil, we used to go to Yashwant Place to do skating. They have those ramps and
right.
long corridors. So we would go skating there. It used to be so much fun. Yeah, those were really nice days. Yeah. Growing up in Chanakya was, I think, 70 to 78 was the golden period that I remember.
It was. And listen, while you're in Yashwant Place, they might just be the inventors of the tandoori momo. Huh? Don't knock it.
Yeah.
It may just have been invented over there. Niku, I hope you had it, the red butter chicken colored, tandoori colored.
Yes, I tried it, but I used to like the mutton steam.
Of course.
So on that note, guys, before we leave you with the food court, let me remind you again to write into us at homp2020@gmail.com, homp2020@gmail.com. Share your food experiences, where you'd like us to go once we get Rocky, Mayur, Prashant and me back on the road again, and what you think is your comfort food. Share all that with us. But before we go, let's give you the food court. Who's going first?
Delhi spirit is incredible. We listen to songs by Mika and Daler Mehndi. जब लिखन लाई तूने मेरे से पेंसिल मांगी मैंने तेरे को पेन दी.
Delhi is the city of mithas and kebabs, and there when we grew up we used to play. And if at heart you're not a Delhi wala, तो कोई गल नहीं बना देंगे.
Nice. The food here is best, and you may call me silly. My home may not be perfect, but damn, I love my Delhi.
Prashant, come on, Prashant. This is Delhi, Prashant. You can do it. 2 lines.
Man, I just freeze over, man. This is too stressful to come up with even 2 lines on this. I'm a thinking kind of guy.
I'm a thinking kind of guy eating momos while we are waiting. Punjab is down the ramp skating. Okay, fine.
That was good.
So guys, love your home city. Tell us what is fantastic about it. Like Rocky said, home is home. So no offense to anyone. I'm sure your home is as special to you as ours is. But at one level, Dehradun is my home. But never. That for another day. All right, guys. Good night. Sleep well. And let's meet for kebab soon.
Yeah.
All right,
absolutely.
boys. Take it easy. Have a good one.
Good night. Take care.
Bye.
All the News Laundry podcasts are available on Stitcher, iTunes, and any other podcast platform.
Please subscribe to News Laundry. Help us keep news independent. To catch all our podcasts on news, pop culture, current affairs, and sport, visit newslaundry.com. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, and subscribe to our YouTube channel.